It may have taken a while, but it appears that Miami Heat president Pat Riley is finally beginning to realize what the team's fans already had figured out, that their roster is not presently good enough to compete for a championship. Riley's decision not to go all in during their pursuit of Kevin Durant pretty much echoed that. NBA expert Zach Lowe laid it all out on a recent podcast, in which he essentially said that the Heat clearly got to the point where they realized a trio of KD, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Herro probably wasn't good enough to compete in the Eastern Conference. It made the potential juice from a trade for KD not worth the squeeze. If that's the reason why Riley hesitated in putting all their young pieces and draft capital on the table, it does indicate growth from the front office. It also proves that this franchise may finally be acknowledging that they're not an aging superstar away from competing in the East, no matter how wide open the conference may be. The true test for Pat Riley and the front office. Of course, all of that could be swiped away by a completely irresponsible move at the NBA draft or in free agency. For example, if the Heat were to make a trade for DeMar DeRozan or another veteran who is on a hefty contract that runs beyond the 2025-26 NBA season, while not raising the ceiling for the franchise significantly. I'm not suggesting that the Heat can't upgrade their roster by trading for a star or difference-making player this summer, but finding the right target will be of the utmost importance. At this point, if they're not trading for a player like Giannis Antetokounmpo, Trae Young, Lauri Markkanen, Jaylen Brown, or Ja Morant, there's little argument for pulling the trigger. The Heat may be better off pushing back their pursuit of a star player until 2026, which is when they'll have much more financial freedom and flexibility. Unless, of course, the Heat is acquiring one of those 5 players mentioned above. While it may seem as if reality has finally clicked for the front office, we won't completely know until we see how they operate during the remainder of the offseason. What is the biggest indicator that the front office has finally turned a corner? We should see moves that are not short-sighted and a team looking to expand on their flexibility. If the Heat continues with that mindset heading into next summer, while also stockpiling assets with smart teardown deals, that means the front office has officially pivoted away from trying to win now to a team that understands they're not close. The Heat doesn't have to rebuild. They just have to realize they may have to take a bit of a step back this upcoming season to take an even bigger one forward in 2026. Most fans have seen the light. The question is, has the front office truly come to that conclusion? Miami Heat star Bam Adebayo is among the most playful players in the NBA. He can joke with the best of them, even if it involves Las Vegas Aces standout Aya Wilson. Adebayo recently roasted Wilson over the outfit she chose to wear pre-game earlier this week. Wilson donned a zebra print ensemble, prompting Adebayo to post this on Instagram. There have been plenty rumors about both All-Stars dating. Neither has commented directly on their relationship. ESPN pundit goes after Pat Riley. For the past several seasons, the Miami Heat have been linked to a star player every offseason and trade deadline. However, they have failed to land them each time, with Kevin Durant being the latest example. The most frustrating aspect has been the Heat remaining a top 10 defense in the league while consistently being among the bottom of the league offensively. Even worse, the price to improve their offense with several star options could have worked out if they weren't as reluctant to give up several future assets for them. On First Take, Stephen A. Smith questions how Pat Riley hasn't been able to land these stars who have listed the Heat as one of their preferred destinations. Obviously, I have not just respect but reverence for the great Pat Riley, but the flip side to it is that how are you not getting people to come to South Beach? Smith asked. In Kevin Durant's case, he was willing to come there. In Damian Lillard's case, he was willing to come there, and you couldn't get a deal done. The Pat Riley we know, love, and revered all these years always found a way to get it done. But that hasn't been the case, and I'm flummoxed as to why that is. Although Durant is turning 37 soon, his asking price will likely be the cheapest offer the Heat will get for the foreseeable future. Not willing to offer up Kel'el Ware after an elite rookie season and finally being a perfect fit next to Bam Adebayo is understandable. However, not willing to trade Nikola Jovic is a significant risk if he doesn't live up to the expectations the Heat have for him as his game grows. Ever since the arrival of Luka Doncic in February, the Lakers have been looking to add size to the team so that they can have a lob threat on the court alongside him. Therefore, They are expected to be interested in trading for former All-Star Bam Adebayo if the Heat decide to trade him this offseason. According to the Bovada Sportsbook, the Lakers are plus 190, with the highest odds to land Bam Adebayo if the Heat trades him. Other likely candidates to be in the race are the Grizzlies, plus 260, Spurs, plus 300, Kings, plus 375, Mavericks, plus 475, Bulls, plus 1,000, and Celtics, plus 1,600. Bam Adebayo has played in 8 seasons for the Heat, in which he averaged 15.7 points, 8.9 rebounds, and 3.6 assists in 567 regular season games. He was selected to play in 3 All-Star games, 2020, 2023, and 2024. His size and athleticism could be just the right fit alongside Luka Doncic and LeBron James to make the Lakers a potential championship contender next season. Why Heat could consider trading Bam Adebayo. Now, the question here is, why would the Heat want to trade their second-best player? Ever since Bam Adebayo became an All-Star in 2020, the Heat have had 2 trips to the NBA Finals, 3 first-round exits, and 1 trip to the Conference Finals. And while you may say that he has ensured they reach the playoffs every season, the Heat may not be content with doing just that every season. Tyler Herro took a significant leap in his performance last season, especially since the Jimmy Butler trade. The team was initially built around Butler, and he was the key reason the Heat went to the finals twice. With Herro now taking the reins in Miami, it may be time for the Heat to evaluate whether Adebayo is worth the max contract extension he recently signed with them. He is expected to earn $37 million in the 2025-26 season, following which his 3-year $166 million extension will kick in, and he could demand as high as $60.2 million in the 2028-29 season. Is a Lakers trade even possible? The second fact to consider is the viability of a potential Lakers trade. What could the Lakers offer in return to convince the Heat to let their franchise cornerstone go? Jovan Buha, the Athletic's former writer for the Lakers, recently went on his podcast and discussed the viability of the Lakers potentially trading for Adebayo. Given their limited assets and financial constraints, Buha believes it is very unlikely that the Lakers go ahead with this move. I think he'd be good next to Luka because they're both all-star, all-NBA guys, and they're both smart and they can make it work, Buha said. I think Bam is not enough of a lob threat for what the Lakers would want. Defensively, he'd be great because he's a great defender, but I don't know if they could get him. From a trade perspective, I don't really see LA having enough to offer to Miami. He even went on to say that the Lakers could offer Austin Reeves, Dalton Knecht, a 2030 first-round pick swap, and their 2031 first-round pick. But he was not confident that it would be enough to convince Heat. Lakers don't have cap space. They're not projected to have that cap space, and projected to have potentially the non-taxpayer MLE, Buha said. But then they are hard-capped with the first apron, or they can have the taxpayer MLE, and then they can go up to the second apron. There are some ways to work out the cap stuff to get a little bit of space, but not much, and even then it could potentially come down to LeBron James taking a massive pay cut, which I have been on the record saying I'm skeptical of, Buha concluded. LeBron James will have to take a massive pay cut even to make it feasible for the Lakers to make this trade happen. Therefore, in my opinion, while it may be exciting for sports bettors to bet on the Lakers trading for Bam Adebayo, objectively, it does not seem likely that the Lakers will be able to pull off this move.